What's going on, NEM crew? Welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about the LS that you see in front of me here. I don't know if I'm going to make like a short mini series on just little quick tips and tricks or some troubleshooting things, maybe a troubleshooting guide as I'm going through. But this video is going to be really quick, and we're going to be talking about the crank sprocket that you see in my hand right here. So we're going to be going through on how to install this. You will need a few different little things, but we'll jump right in and we'll talk about it. All right, so we're going to be going through and installing the crank sprocket here. Obviously, goes on the crankshaft. There's a keyway. As you can see, the little notch up top there, so you'll line that up. Problem is this is actually pressed in. I actually have it backwards here. So what we're gonna have to do is figure out a way to press this on. Now, if you're doing a build, you're not really getting into the bottom end. Realistically, this should still be on your crankshaft. I sent this out to a machine shop to get the bottom end done. Ultimately, they forgot to put this back on, so I'm in a little bit of a struggle here. So this is actually a new to me crankshaft. It's used, but it's been machined, balanced, all that fun stuff. So now it's just been a struggle to get this back on because me not being a machine shop, I don't have anything to put this on here. So what we're gonna do, come up with a solution that should work, and hopefully you guys will see in this video here. But there's a few things that you're gonna need that you probably don't have laying around. I've seen a few videos of people using the old one. So if you've taken the old one off and you have a new one and you don't know what to use to press this on, you can technically use the old one. So you'd put the new one in, you'd put the old one over top of the crank, and then you'd ultimately just put the crank bolt in here, or you can do what we're doing. We're gonna be using the crank or the harmonic balancer install tool that I have here. We're going to use this to ultimately wind and screw in the crank sprocket. So what I have as a solution, if you don't have two of these, is just a piece of tubing here. So you need something that's going to be big enough to go over the crank, but not so big that it goes over top of the actual piece here. So this lines up pretty much perfectly together. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this unit on here, and then we're gonna put this over top of the crank. And then again, we're gonna either use the crank bolt or we're gonna use this. So I've decided to use this because I don't wanna have any risk of damaging the threads that go into the crank. This actually uses a nut on here. So realistically, if I strip anything, I'll be stripping the nut, and I won't be stripping the crankshaft. So I'm gonna screw this in. I do have a few big washers as well, because you might need those to come in handy, because the nut is just gonna go through this. So we're gonna put the washer first, then the nut will press up against the washer, which will then press up against this unit, so on and so forth. And in theory, we should be able to make our own mini press with this, and it's something that you can just then leave in the garage. You always have it. I don't know how many times you'd be rebuilding it, but if it's going in a race car and you got an LS, you might be doing bottom ends very often. I don't know, but it's always something that you can use and find uses for, I guess, as you're doing work in the garage. So we'll cut right back to us trying to see if we can press this on. All right, so that actually worked very, very well as we got it pressed on here. It's perfect, there's no damage to anything. It was hard to tell if I was backing and like mating up against the crank, because it does get really snug close to the end, but I think we got it there. Looks all pressed on. Should be good. Now for your reference, I'm gonna go over some measurements of what I have. And before we do that, I just wanna say that if you're in the middle of working on your engine right now and you run into this issue, Unfortunately, I don't have any good news. You'll probably have to run out and get something, or again, you might have something in your garage that you can makeshift similar to this to make it work. But I was in that exact same position, had to run out, get this stuff so I could do this. All right, so to go through what we have or what we needed to buy, we got a 3.5 inch pipe. I'd probably say 3 inches would be better, just because we didn't really have much thread when we were using the harmonic balancer installer. So I would say 3 inches would probably do you way better, just to have a little bit more threads to work with. The pipe itself, the inside diameter is 1 5/8. The thickness of the wall is 1/8 of an inch. And then we got a few washers here. I believe they're 2 inches in diameter, and then the hole is 3/4 inch. And that was perfect. It allowed everything to kind of work without any issues. So hopefully this information was helpful. If you have any questions, put them down below. And now I can continue building this beast, and a video should be out shortly, going through the build progress. All right, thanks for watching. Peace out. We'll see you guys in the next one. Stay classy, crew.